Some of you have pointed out that I seem to have a certain amount of fondness towards purple hair waifus. I don't think I am going to deny that. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven, today with a scale figure review, another Chinese figure. My third consecutive one from a figure brand that I am also buying from for the very first time, SSR Figure. So with SSR Figure, their figures are not exactly as cheap as Animaster or Barrel Panda or Momorosa, the one I reviewed the most recently. They are somewhere in the mid-tier among the Chinese figure brands. They're looking at 9,000 to 12,000 yen for each scale figure they make. And those are 1/7 scales, by the way. And if I'm not mistaken, SSR Figure is a branch of Infinity Studio, another figure brand that makes more expensive scale figures, also from China. Now, the one in front of me right here, her name is Yura apparently, and we have this original character art girl practicing or doing yoga. An interesting pose and one that I have not seen from many figure brands out there, if any at all. We have the vertical leg stretching pose, but not the horizontal one like this figure over here. Which also means, yeah, I'm using a rather zoomed in view for today's figure review because this figure appears to be so small despite being a 1/7 scale, and I have mixed feelings about this one. From the bottom of the base to the top of her head, this is only 11 centimeters, barely the size of an android. But is this? Okay, let's call this the leg span. The wingspan, the leg span over here is a full 30 centimeters. So, when I pulled out my JK correction tape over here, I love JK so much that even my correction tape has a JK alphabet on it. Yeah, if I were to roughly measure the height from the head to the leg over here, like literally bending around this way, this would be a 24 to 25 centimeter figure if she is standing upright, which puts her in 1/7 scale territory, a shorter one. Some 1/7 scales go up to 26 centimeters. This would be a shorter one at 24 to 25 cm. So that is my best guess over here based on the curvy dimensions, along the figure. The amount I paid for her, not including shipping, would be 350 yuan in China's Taobao, Bilibili store. And this is still considered relatively cheap when compared to Japanese brands. Surely, she is more expensive than Momoko that I reviewed last week. But if this figure was made by Union Creative, this would be maybe 18,000 yen. Yeah. Why Union Creative? Because Union Creative is one of those Japanese brands which is actively making figures of original art characters, right? Moving on to the unboxing process, it was fairly straightforward, just figure and base, no assembly or anything like that, and the box was ordinary. As for the figure itself, well, I am pretty happy with the sculpt. Like, it is definitely not very detailed, but I think it is a notch above the Momoko figure I just reviewed last week by Momorosa, because her outfit has all these finer details like, the zippers and then the magenta colored straps, which there are actually some shading on it. Very nice indeed. Also, needless to say, the shape and the sculpt of her backside is top class. I know some of you have pointed out that I seem to have a certain amount of fondness towards purple hair waifus. I don't think I am going to deny that because I think 3 of my top 10 favorite FGO characters have purple heads. Shuten Doji, Ushiwa Kamaru, and yeah, let's put Raiko over there. I like Raiko as well. Okay, so I'm not going to deny that I like purple hair waifus, but seriously, to be honest with you, this time around, my latest figure loot, where all 3 figures that I purchased having purple hair, that is completely coincidence. Like, I just happened to see a nice looking figure at a reasonable price, I pick it up, just like that. And purple hair on all 3, damn. Okay, so the sculpting department of this figure, including the face, right, I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. I'm factoring in, right, the price of the figure when I give a score. If this was a Union Creative figure that cost 18,000 yen, then the score would lower to 5 or 6 out of 10. But for a figure that cost 350 Chinese yuan, I would give it a 7 out of 10 maximum. This is not a very detailed figure to begin with. Speaking of the face sculpt, once again, I haven't seen a Chinese brand screwing up the face of a figure they make in an epic manner, and I'm referring to licensed, original, genuine anime figures, of course. So this one continues that very same trend. The face is spot on compared to the product photos that I compared her to, and I'm pretty pleased with it. Yeah, not to mention, once again, short hair girls with this kind of haircut, this kind of hairstyle, my kind of thing. I'm a fan of it. Same reason why I liked Sophia F. Schering, which I did mention in my figure news fix a few days ago. Moving on to the paintwork, this is where we have some good news and also bad news. The good news is that the paintwork is great overall. Like, the shading is present in most of the figure. The hair is the most obvious, I think. You can see gradient paintwork on the purple color hair, especially behind her. Moving on to her outfit, we have a heavy dose of shading on the two magenta colored straps in front of her. And even on the yellow color shirt she is wearing, there is actually a small amount of shading, slight different tones of yellow. I can see it with my own eyes. And the magenta colored stripes around the collar, everything is precisely painted. However, there is also a big quality control issue on the paintwork on the back of the figure. So if we are looking at her from this is the front, this is the back. So on her back over here, which is her right collar right here, right? Look at this picture over here. A huge chunk of yellow paint has peeled off. Usually, this kind of flaw is caused by a failure of the primer layer, the undercoat layer, where there are contaminants on the surface of the figure. Before they paint it, maybe there are dust, or there is oil or sweat from our hands, and then they did not realize it, they didn't clean the figure properly, they painted the undercoat, the primer over, and later on the actual paint. So the primer layer wasn't sticking to the surface of the figure properly, and then later on, yeah, the whole area which did not have proper adhesion will just peel off like that, it will fall off. So this is what we're looking at over here. This is a quality control failure, and probably not something that is happening on every copy of this figure. Just me being a bit unlucky. But because of this one flaw over here, I am going to severely downgrade the score of this figure. The paintwork is, yeah, without that flaw would be a 7 out of 10. With this flaw over here, a 6 out of 10. Moving on to the final part of this figure, which is the base. I did mention this in my figure unboxing video. It looks like a loaf of bread. It still looks like to me. I would appreciate proper wood texture on the surface, like, all those lines on the surface of any wooden stuff. Regardless of that fact, this is a very nice looking base, and please do. As for whether the figure is stable or not, well, the figure does not plug into the base in any way, and the good news is that the figure does not rock around. So the dimensional accuracy is there. Like, if I were to shake and wobble this figure, as you can see, she is sitting firmly on the surface of this base. It is not rocking around. So there are some anime figures out there where certain parts are not sitting flat with the surface of the base. Maybe the hands are slightly raised up, or the leg is slightly raised up. So when you shake the figure, it is like a table with 4 legs, but only 3 legs are touching the floor. So you have the table shaking around or wobbling around. Something very common in restaurants. So I was looking for that in this figure. And fortunately, all 4 limbs are touching the surface of the base over here. No wobbling. Great news. So my conclusion for this figure today, can I recommend it? Well, I suppose that I'm just being a little bit unlucky over here. I got a figure with a slight quality control issue, but it shouldn't be something prevalent. Yeah. So can I recommend SSR figure? My opinion right now, since I have only reviewed one figure from them, I would say I'm cautiously optimistic. So if you found this review today to be helpful or informative, please do give this video a like and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Until then, I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you for watching and goodbye.